First I want to talk a little bit about man-to-man techniques. We do mirror drills daily. The key to this drill, and you guys have probably seen this and done this before, the key to this drill is the guy on offense. If he works hard, right, that makes him work hard. Now, I do it daily to constantly, again, reinforce the concept that I have, or a belief that I have, that I want inside leverage on the receiver if I'm playing man-to-man. Okay? So I'll say the ball is over there by my papers. Okay? Therefore, Alex is going to get in a good stance and put his right foot right down the middle of his crotch, taking away an inside cut. It's a lot easier for a quarterback, I think, to throw the ball the guy's chest than it is to throw it over the shoulder. Now, that doesn't mean that if they can't complete the pass, they probably can. You know, they'll be very good at throwing the ball over the shoulder, but I'd still rather see that type of a pass than one where the quarterback can see the guy's numbers. So we always try, when we're playing man-to-man, we always take away the inside hip, right? We also want to try to get hands on it. So in this mirror drill, he's going to go back and forth within the 10-yard zone. I tell him, first of all, he's got to touch a line, right? Once he touches the line, and then he's got to cross a line, then he can go anywhere he wants to. He can go back and forth, this way, right, left, etc. And then he's got 6 seconds. And when I say hit the second time, he's going to try and beat him across his face to the inside, over here. Okay? At that point, that's where Alex has got to step, and he's got to punch him with his inside foot. Okay, I'm sorry. We've got to step, and we've got to punch, all right, with his inside foot. This is the inside over here, so that he can't cross his face. All right? We just call this mirror. So again, you're going to touch the line, cross the line, and go as fast as you can, back and forth. When I say hit the second time, try to come to me. Okay? Now, Alex has got to stay in a good set. Move in a little bit. He's got to stay in the same relationship that he starts in. Right foot right down his crotch. Ready? See that? Hit! Stay with him. Give me 6 seconds. 6 seconds of work. Ready? Hit! Come to me. Boom. And he's got to punch. Now, back again. Now, Alex stood up, and this is, again, another coaching point. When they get a little lazy and they forget what they're doing, when this guy crosses his face, I don't want to lunge, right, like this. All I want to do, right, is take a short step and punch right here. Short step, 6-inch step, punch, and I want to keep my chin up. Don't want my head down, chin up, just punch him. Just again, reinforce the idea I don't want him to cross his face. Okay? And then we'll do it the opposite way, and we'll flip sides, etc. But we try to get at least 2 repetitions in about 24 seconds worth of work. Okay? Now you get on this side. Right after we do our mirror drill, then we go to what I call ping pong punch. Right? Ball's on this side over here. On hit, he's going to try and cross his face. Get over here, Alex. Alex's job is to make sure he doesn't cross his face. He's going to punch and keep that chin up. Sit down, sit down. Keep that chin up, right? Punch, make contact, and every time this guy gets hit, he's going to spin out and go the opposite way. Right? Then he's going to try and beat him to where he wants to go. And then we come over here and we're going to beat him to this side. All right, let's show him one more time, and then I'll explain why we do this. All right, move up just a little bit. On the first hit, you're coming this way. And then spin out every time you get hit. Ready? Set. Hit! Punch. Beat him where he wants to go. Punch. And punch. Okay? Now, again, to teach man-to-man, we want to stay in a good stance all the time. And again, I want hands on whenever possible. Okay? Back over here. Okay? And so we do this, again, to get your feet moving and to stay down in a good stance all the way through. I also coach basketball, and basically it's all we're doing. We're playing man-to-man, basketball technique, good stance, all right? Trying to stay inside and beat the guy to where he wants to go to, okay? Now, we'll also then take this drill a little further with the receivers, and we'll work with the receivers and the quarterbacks. Now, in this particular case, we're going to walk through it. He's going to be the receiver, and Alex is going to be on defense. Now, when we play man-to-man, we want to kind of squeeze the line of scrimmage. We will play man-to-man off, all right, in our cover 4 technique. But right now, we're going to say we're in cover 0. We're going to play man-to-man and press them a little bit. When we press, we want to try and punch and get our shoulder into this guy so that when he's running, it's difficult for him to use his arm. going back to what I said before about the rules being against you, the defensive backs have it really rough because the referees, if it's downfield, they don't like to see any contact at all. However, if you keep your hands low and you get your body into the guy, you have the right, legally, by the rules, you have the right to fight for position.
I can upload it to YouTube
what
or to
referees always are
OneDrive.
looking for is
Okay,
where are your
share it that
hands and do you look for the ball? So when we're going live with our receivers and quarterbacks, right, I get all over these guys about getting your shoulder to lean on. Now I want you to just kind of jog and run a fade, okay? But Alex will demonstrate what I'm talking about. Ready, set, hit, punch. Now he gets his shoulder in and lean. If you do this and you keep your hands down low, most refs, good refs, will let it go. Okay? Is it illegal? You know, I don't think so. I think you have the right to fight for that. And the worst thing that can happen, they throw a flag and they get 15 yards. At least you're not going to get a touchdown out of it, right? And that's where, again, you have to, just like basketball, adjust to the refs. If the referees tell you you got to get your hands off or you can't bump them like that, then we'll back off, right? So we as coaches then have to adjust too, right? Then we won't press. They're not going to let us do that. Then we'll have to do something else, okay? We can still play man, but it's going to be even tougher on us, okay? But that's the technique that I teach them primarily, okay? There's only like 3 or 4 things that we do man-to-man wise, right? Like I said, we do our mirror drill, ping-pong punch, and then we go live with the receiver. Now, there's also another drill, let's see, Alex, that I go through on a daily basis, and that's what I call catch-up, right? This is a man-to-man drill, but it's also a zone drill. Okay? Now, most of the time we do this with the receivers, and the quarterbacks are throwing the fade. We run it in our league. You watch, we run into this 6-7 times a game. People are throwing the fade, so we have to be able to play the fade. But I have some rules for them, and the rules are this. Right? Number 1, we will not look back for the ball unless we are even or ahead of the receiver. Now in this case, that's downfield, right? Now we move back a little bit. I usually start them about a yard apart. So he's got to hustle and catch up. He's got to get to even or ahead. And the second rule is you must have contact, right? I don't want to be here and look for the ball because this guy is taught to do what? Fade, run away from me. So that's where, you have to get that hand on the hip and lean into him in this drill so we've got contact. I can't look back until that happens. Now, again, the referee said, well, you didn't look back. Okay, fine, give me 15 yards, at least it's not a touchdown, right? But I don't want him to look back unless he is even, ahead, and has contact. And I'll get all over them in practice if they start looking back without that. The tendency is to want to come here, they hear a ball call and they start looking over here, right? Well, I don't want that. I want to lean on it. So in this case, let's just jog through this. Ready, set, hit. Okay, and then he's going to lean on it. Now, come on back again. If you don't have a quarterback and receivers to do it, we can still do the catch-up drill with me throwing the ball, although my arm is not what it used to be. Get over here, Alex. So what I do to compensate for that is I'll get out here and make it a short pass, right? You don't look for the ball, he looks for the ball. Okay, you just run, right? About half speed. Ready, set, hit! Right? And then I give him a ball, and then he goes for the ball at its highest point, okay? But again, we try, when we go with the receivers, we do it live, right? But when I'm doing it with just the defensive back, it's all to teach that fundamental of getting even and get your hands on. Okay? So those are our man-to-man drills. Now, backpedal. You start there and you start there. Okay, you're going to face this one. I always ask these guys, have you ever heard that as a defensive back, you got to be able to run backwards, run forwards? Ever heard that? No, it's impossible. Okay? So I always tell them that. It's impossible to run backwards as fast as you can forward. So we don't only teach what I call a dog technique where we backpedal in zone. We'll also teach a cat technique where we turn our hips, right, and turn our hips this way and look over our shoulder, right, so that I'm running forward just like the receiver's running forward because I'm faster that way. The downfall of that particular technique is that we give up underneath that. Okay? We give up quick outs. We give up quick stops. Right? But I'll show you a way that you can kind of limit that by not bailing out. Right? Some coaches call it a bail technique. I don't like the word bail because I don't want them to bail. I want them to just turn their hips and run with the receiver. But I think fundamentally you got to first teach kids how to backpedal. Okay? So we start with our hands on our hips. Okay? We're going to sit down. We start with a heel-toe relationship with our feet. Move that foot back a little bit. Right? And we're going to try and put our feet on the line. So I tell them, when you run forward, you don't run with your feet out here. Right? You try to go in a straight line. Backpedaling is no different, but it is different because it's a different feel. Okay? What I'm going to try to do in this drill is get them to put their feet on the line every time they take a step and stay off of their heel. Why don't you go to your heels, Greg? Why don't I backpedal and push off on my heel? Right? And what's going to happen to you if you go backwards? If you go on your heel, you're going to fall. All right? So we want to stay on the balls of our feet. So coaching points in this is to make sure that their heels are off the ground, and we're going to just heel-toe it to the numbers. Ready? Say hit! I want to get our head up and look down the field, right there, and put both feet on the line. Okay? Just to work again on stance, and then squeezing our butt cheeks together. That's good. Stop right there. Right? Squeezing our butt cheeks together to get the hands in line. Now turn around that way. The next step in the progression of teaching backpedal is to use your arms. Right? But tell them I don't want to see their hands. I want to see nothing but elbows. I want their hands in tight. And I want the elbow to be doing most of the movement. What it does is it tilts them forward and keeps the shoulders over their knees. Okay? So we got hands in tight, and I want your elbows to come here. I used to say all I want to see is asses and elbows. Right? Ready? Reach back a little bit further. Again, same thing. We're trying to step right on the line, but now you can have them, reach back a little bit with each step. Okay? Good. Now turn around that way. The next step in the progression is to emphasize that you want to stay low. I always ask them, do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? And if you do, you ever watch your dog or cat change direction? I used to have a dog, a collie, a German Shepherd collie mix. He used to have grass stains down his butt because where was his hips? Where was his butt? On the ground. And that's what we want to do in this drill. We want to stay as low as possible, even though we're changing direction. So we just call it simply backpedal turn, backpedal turn. You're going to turn to the right, turn to the left. Let's let Alex do it, because I don't think Greg's stuff. All right? And he's going to try and keep his shoulders at the same level all the way through this drill. Now, I don't want this footwork when we're, in a game. The only reason we do this is to turn our hips, right, to change our footwork and still maintain a good stance and shoulders low. Okay? So the footwork, forget about the footwork, just watch where his shoulders are at. Ready? Set. Hit! Turn. Back. Turn. Back. All right. Good, Alex. Right there. Okay? Now, stay right there. We're going to go there. The next step in the progression is I always try to do things as competitively as much as possible. And we're just going to straight back pedal as fast as you can. In this case, just to the numbers. Normally I have them do it to the hash, right? But right now we're just going to go to the numbers. Okay? As fast as you can, so you can get there. Pound the ground. Stop. When they're doing it, I'm constantly talking to them, telling them to pound the ground. What I mean by that is I want them to use the balls of their feet, right? Stay off of their heels, pound the ground, balls. One more time. And we'll come back. Ready? And stop. Okay? And we want to go as fast as possible. Now, after we've done that, we talk about when to turn. When do you flip and run that way? It's always when you feel like you're threatened. Right? There's no. I've never been able to talk to any defensive back coach who give me any other reason or cue that makes sense to me. The only thing that makes sense is when you feel threatened, that's when you have to turn. And we have to turn into the guy, right, and get our hand on the hip again. So when he backpedals, right, and I say turn, he's going to turn in the direction that I point. He's going to put his hand out, like he's got it on the hip, and he's going to turn and sprint. I'll get back there. Right. When I teach him to turn, I talk about turning your hips, right, and opening those hips as wide as possible, and then driving the opposite arm across. Okay? So as I'm turning the hip here, this arm, the opposite arm is going to come across so I can accelerate. Okay? We're going to open that one first. So we'll work on this every day. All right? See that? Go ahead, get in there. Open. Okay. Hit! Turn! And then they're going to stretch through the hand. Okay? Then we'll come back and do the same thing. Right there. And we're going to turn the other way. All right? Ready? Okay. Hit! Turn! All right? Now, one of the coaching points, again, notice that Greg's younger, so I'm not picking on him, right? But fundamentally, he's probably faster than Alex, but he's going to be slower because he stood up, right? We want to, when we turn this way. We want to stay low, open that hip, and drive that arm across. He didn't drive the arm across, and he stood up. So that's something I would stop, and I take time with him and walk him through it so he can get to that point. Okay? All right. Next, we're going to backpedal, and you're going to break on the ball. Now, normally I've got about 12, and you'll probably have about 8 to 12 guys with you too. So I want to try to have at least as many balls as possible. All right, you're going to be right here. Turn around. You're going to throw. You're going to be quarterback. Right? I would have like 4 lines at once to try and get as many reps as possible. We're going to work on breaking on the ball. He's got a backpedal. Right, now it's backpedal. Right, and I'm going to predetermine which way we're going to break, right, like this way. Right, and Alex is going to plant his right foot and then step to the left. Now, fundamentally, right, what I teach is a toe dig. Most of the games we play is on this stuff. Right? So the fastest way that I found for a player to change direction is to dig their toe in and then step in on a 45-degree angle, straight line. You know, the basic fundamental or basic concept is the fastest way from point A to point B is a straight line. So I have him aiming right here, 5 yards on a 45. I'll let him backpedal about 5, and then we're going to break on a 45-degree angle right there. The offense is going to throw him the ball, right? When I say ball, right, he's going to look for the ball, and he's going to go for the ball at its highest point. Now just throw it out there kind of soft so we can react to it. Ready? Set, hit, break, boom. Right, now, you can throw it up high, but we like to get a little zip on it. Now, I don't know if you go again, Alex, one more time. I don't know if you noticed, but Alex made a false step. His first step was kind of rounded this one. You want to go on a 45. We had a time already. Go ahead. Here we go. Ready? See it? Hit! Break! Step. That's better. Okay? Notice that time he planted and he stepped on an angle this way. Now let's do zigzag real quick.
2-minute warning.
In order to reinforce that, we also do another drill we call zigzag. Right? Alex is going to backpedal 5 steps, come up. On the second time he does it, put the ball on the ground. Primarily, not only for them to think about scooping and scoring when the ball's on the ground, but primarily to keep his shoulders down when he's coming up, so they don't come up here. Ready? Alex, shoulders. Ready? Say, hit! 5, plant, come up. 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plant, come up. Scoop, and now we score. You get up the field, and I tell them their goal line is the dotted line over, so that our shoulders are down all the way through. Right? Alex, come on, man. I mentioned to you about our cat technique. Right, this time the ball's over here. In the cat technique, that you see a lot of it in college and the pros, also in high school. Right? He's going to turn his hips. When he turns his hips, I want him to pause. I don't want him to lean this way. So we'll do the zigzag drill out of our cat technique too, but only take 4 steps. Right? Now go slow, Alex. Right? Ready? Set. Hit. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hang it back again. I want to see a little bit more of the turn of your hips, so your hips are facing that way. Okay? You're looking here, but your hips are that way. Ready? Set. Hit. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plant. Come up. That's it. turn, pause, stay low, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll also swoop and score, or you can just toss it up there so we've got something to go for. But I just feel putting it on the ground so that when they come up, they're going to be here. If you don't bail, right, you can play a quick out or a quick stop. Or you can come up and you can play a sweep to your side. So we teach a cat technique on our corners. We all do it as defensive backs, whether they're safeties or corners. I teach them all the same because you never know. We're going to put the best people on the field. It might be a safety. If the corner goes down, we'll put a safety at the corner. It doesn't make any difference. You've got to know that technique. Okay? One last thing. We can also, if we're pressed for time, put everything together in what I call the all-in-one drill. Right? Now it's we're done. Ready? Got a back pedal, hand. Got a turn, ball. And I always throw it over his outside shoulder because that's where the offense is taught to run, away from him. So our all-in-one drill, if I press for time, I can get all the fundamentals in, back pedal, elbows, everything in, turn, flip, go for the ball at its highest point, and we can get all of that done in a very short period of time. All right? Anyway, that's some of the things we do. And in 30 minutes, I've given you not even half. So you can easily fill an hour if you need to. But again, I will, if anyone wants a list of those, there's a yellow pad over there. You can leave your email. But the head of your association will also get a copy.